It is an absolutely beautiful day here in Fort Myers, a winter day, if you will, and that being temperatures in the mid 70s and no humidity. And I thought I would get myself out of the house and bring you along and come down and just kind of walk along the gardens here at the Thomas Edison and Henry Ford Winter Estates. And as you walk in, there's a rather large fig tree. And right in front of the fig tree, you have this Christmas tree made up of, I don't know what type of plants those are, but you can take a look. This is the actual selfie spot here. And just beyond the tree, you would have the one and only Mr. Thomas Alva Edison. Look at that. I'll give you a nice view of the statue. It's rather a really nice place to come and visit. I can recall that I came here once, maybe even twice, with my father when he was spending some of his last winters. And he would come down, and I remember once or twice we came down to the Ford and Edison Winter Estate and shared this together. Look at this fig tree here. They actually have a sign that warns you against falling figs. Look at that. And I'm going to step out and just back over here. They have the museum and the museum store. I'm not going to go into the museum or museum store, but I'll just share with you a little bit of the front of the store here. And then if I come around just over here, they have the garden shop. Here you can buy yourself some beautiful plants. Just really some beautiful stuff here. Got some of these plants that you can actually buy. Aren't those pretty? Those are hanging bromelade, I believe is what they call them. Look at that. Rather beautiful. It's a bromeliad, I believe. Bromeliad. And just over here, you would have Mrs. Edison in the garden. This is the garden shop, for sale, tropical plants. And there would be Mrs. Edison and all her elegance. So we're just going to do a little walk and talk through the garden. Mina Miller married Thomas Alva Edison in 1886. This was the same year the two began to create their winter estate in Fort Myers. During their many years in Fort Myers, the Edisons enjoyed creating areas for botanical research and family pleasure gardens, as well as the useful kitchen and truck gardens. In fact, Thomas Edison tested more than 17,000 plants for possible sources of rubber, and also grew numerous fruits and vegetables such as citrus, mango, and pineapples. Very nice. Edison Heritage Garden in memory of Thomas and Mina Edison. This garden area has been created to reflect the Edison original plan for the estate landscape. It commemorates the legacy of Thomas and Mina Edison and other groups and individuals involved in the cultural landscape of the Edison and Ford winter estates. Here they have some hydroponic garden. Look at this. Really is a nice place. You could easily come here and spend the better part, if not most of an entire day, just walking around through the various exhibits that they have here and the museum. And you can actually walk through the homes of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison. It's a display of the various butterflies that you might see in and about the various gardens here. Very, very nice. No shortage of butterflies as I walk about. Now I'm going into a display of Christmas trees. I believe these trees were decorated by various children, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this was the Rama C. Page Elementary School right here. Nice display. All right. So I'm going to see if I can't find my way over to the actual residences of Mr. Ford and Mr. Edison. I believe they've got some nice gardens over there as well. Boy, what a contrast this weather is to growing up on the shores of Lake Erie just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Quite a difference between the two. It's no wonder that Mr. Edison and Mr. Ford would want to come down here for the winters. All right, let's go see if we can't see if we can. Let's go see if we can't see the residences. As I walk past here, I've been actually looking for some nice succulents for my home that I've been remodeling, and I almost walked right past these. These are actually rather nice, to be quite honest with you. Look at that. Very, very nice. All right, let's go look at the residences. So we'll walk out past I believe is it the garden shop? Perhaps. Actually, I'm just going to keep the camera rolling as I go by the hibiscus here. Look at that. Give a shout out to Melissa up in Georgia, and Oksana up in, where is Oksana? She's up in Connecticut, I believe. There's some Cape honeysuckle right here. And we got, who is it, Mark up in Michigan. And of course my beautiful mother up in greater Cleveland, Ohio. Hi. All right. Catch the light just before it changes here. If I'm not mistaken, they were actually having a wedding.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Here. Holiday Nights, River Reflections. So they have this on. They'll have lights tonight. They've got a light show. See the little, I don't know if you can see the little bird in there or not. Perhaps you can. Oh, and how can I forget the beautiful atoll over in Stockholm. I'm sure this is warming up her day. As wintertime in Stockholm, I'm sure can be rather cool. Look at this beautiful plant. This was actually over 2 stories high before Hurricane Irma in 2017. Look at that. Wow. Oh, I bet this is quite beautiful in the evening. Somebody doing a nice Here's another selfie spot right here. Which is very, very nice. If you care to join me for a cup of tea, look at this. Now here's a plant just kind of hanging out. Look at that. Is that something or what? Look at this plant. Boy, that really is something. Wow. It's actually hanging by a chain from the tree. This is Thomas Edison's study right here. Look at this. This was his study. There would be his desk. Wonder where Alexander Graham Bell wintered in the when he wasn't inventing things. There's a beautiful plant. Here you got a bunch of bamboo. Boy, very nice. I believe they have a wedding going on over here. Private event. Would you like to have a wedding in the winter home of Thomas Edison or Henry Ford? Just beautiful. I see signs. There's caution, falling mangoes. Please pardon our mess. As I go over toward the caretaker's yard here at the estates. And here's the swimming pool. This is quite a sight. Look at the diving board. Wonder if Mina was known to jump off the diving board and make a splash or two. Look at that. I bet Henry Ford would do a cannonball every now and then off of this diving board into the pool. Very nice. They've done a wonderful job of preserving this part of, I keep wanting to say American history, but this is world history. The winter estates of the inventor of the automobile, or one of the inventors of the automobile. There's some information about the pool complex. Madeline, Marie, Theodore, and the two maids have gone bathing in the hotel pool, so everybody is happy, wrote Mina to the family. Look at that. I don't know if I can zoom in or not. By the 1911 winter season, the family and staff no longer had to travel downtown to the Royal Palm Hotel pool. Edison had a bathing pool built right on his own estate. The pool was constructed by W.R. Wallace and the company of Fort Myers. The work included the floor and walls made of concrete reinforced throughout with woven wire or expanded metal. Look at that. Here's where they're going to have the wedding, right out here. Rather nice spot for a wedding, I must say. Boy, it's beautiful. For those of you up north, if this doesn't warm your day or your evening, I don't know what will. See, they've got the wedding tables all set up. Looks like a rather small wedding. And off in the distance, there's a jet ski going by. That actually wouldn't be a bad thing for me to pick up. Nice little jet ski would be something that would be rather nice, as opposed to buying a full-on boat. As I walk along, I'm actually walking on a pathway of seashells. Look at this. Edison Pier. The pier was originally called the Wharf. It was used as a working area to offload boats carrying materials and contents for the homes and laboratory beginning in 1885. Why, this will be the finest thing that ever happened to lovely Fort Myers. Beyond doubt, you have the finest place in the country, and if you build this seawall inside of a few years, this section will not be large enough to hold the tourists that will be scrambling to get here every winter. Yes, sir, by all means, build the seawall. Thomas Edison, thoughts on the proposed city seawall, from a local newspaper article in 1908. What to think? Thomas Edison and Henry Ford probably came down in the evening, just as I'm doing here, and walked along the water talking about maybe who would win the pennant in the coming year, the Yankees or the Tigers. Just fantastic. Here's a tree that has a interesting bark, if you can see that. Very nice. Now let's go up and look at the homes. I believe it was Thomas Edison that first started wintering here in Fort Myers, and his friend Thomas Edison, or Henry Ford, came down. Look at this. Not quite sure whose home this is, but it sure is beautiful. It's probably the Edisons or the Fords. This is the Edison family home, Seminole Lodge. Edison's plan of a Floridian bower in the lowlands of the peninsula at Eden, with that charm zone of beauty, was realized as he completed the Seminole Lodge estate. Look at that's something. Just beautiful. See if we can't peek inside, step up on the porch. Is this a porch or what? Here would be the living room. Look at the living room right here. There's the Christmas tree. Wonderful. Here's the big porch with the swing. When I was growing up outside of Cleveland, Ohio, we used to always hang out on the porches. We'd play games into the night. Here's the library. Look at that old record player. The good old days, perhaps. Isn't that something? I would believe right next door would be the Fords. As I round the corner, look at this Christmas tree here. Isn't that beautiful? Now look at this. Going right over to the Ford's home, I'm assuming. I could just hear the conversation. Henry, you really should come down and build a home here. I'll sell you the lot next door. You think so? Let me talk to the wife. See what she says. Oh, it'll be a blast, Henry. We can have Christmas together. We'll have a good time. Look at that. Here is the sitting room of what I'm assuming is the Ford home here, right next to the Edisons. Look at that. Boy, they do a really nice job decorating this place. I see the kitchen table just up over there. And I would imagine they probably drove down here in the winters. As I turn around, there's a beautiful bush right here, a tree. Give a shout out to Phil up in central Michigan. Oh, they had a piano. Look at this. Look at the top hat right there. Wonderful. And there's some fish that they might have caught out of the water right here. Another view of the sitting room. That's something. I'd be willing to bet this is just the way it was when they were here. Look at this table. Similar to the table that I would have had. I see four chairs on each side. That would have been 8. And Mom and Dad at the top and foot of the table. Whereas we would have had 5 on each side with 10 children. But boy, that's really something else. Look at that. I'm assuming this was the Ford's home. I could be mistaken. To give you another view of the dining table. Imagine, look at the decorating on the chairs. Each chair with its own little reef. This would be the kitchen. And look at that cake. I don't know how they preserved that cake through all these years. But boy, it sure looks good. Big sack of potatoes down on the floor. Boy, it's nice coming down here. Another porch here. This may actually be this is the Edison's estate. This is Seminole Lodge here. So sure, this fish up on the wall. Boy, they don't miss anything, even putting a Christmas hat on the fish. And here, from this angle into the sitting room, you can see the stockings hung by the chimney with care, and hope that St. Nick would soon be there. And as my mom likes teddy bears, I'll share that little teddy with her. Right there. There's some other nostalgia. Just wonderful. And I think just down the way, we actually have if I'm not mistaken, I think we have the Ford estate just down this path of seashells. We can go take a peek as I turn around and give you a view of the Seminole Lodge from this side. Just one of two buildings. Now we come back over this way, and this must have been the Ford estate just over here. Clara Ford's Michigan Rose Garden. Here you see a picture there. Spanned several acres and was designed in part by landscape architect Jens Jensen. Clara Bryant Ford had a passion for roses and grew over 350 varieties and 10,000 rose plants at the family's estate, Fair Lane in Dearborn, Michigan. Mrs. Ford's favorites were tea roses in shades of yellow and white. Look at that home. Boy, I could envision myself having a nice little home like that somewhere in the countryside. As long as it was within a reasonable distance to the nearest Costco and Dunkin' Donuts. Look at that. A little bit smaller than the Edison Seminole Lodge. One of the most interesting rose gardens I saw was in New Zealand, belonging to a lovely lady named Fiona, I think was her name. Let's look at the dining room here. Look at that. Is that something or what? I don't know if I can even maybe zoom in on that. Perhaps I can. Okay. Where they do a nice job. Isn't that something? Just beautiful. This would be the living room at the Ford's home. You enjoying this, Mark, up there in Michigan? Look at that. Really something else. The night before Christmas. Isn't that something? Barnstormer, a game of daring deeds. Look. I think Skip Smith used to have that game, Barnstormer. Could be mistaken. All right. So we'll walk around the back of the Ford estate, the Ford home. Looks like they have some type of a guest home back here, or perhaps this was his. Perhaps this was his laboratory or something. Looks like they have all these plants covered up for one reason or another. This is the citrus grove right here. Welcome to the Henry Ford Citrus Grove. The first orange trees in Florida were believed to have been planted in St. Augustine by Ponce de Leon in the 1500s. When Henry Ford purchased his Fort Myers estate in 1916, dozens of fruit trees, including orange and mango, were already growing in grove-like lines in this area of the property. Look at that. Since then, citrus has become the heart of Florida's agriculture, with multi-generational growers working to grow incredible oranges, grapefruits, and tangerines. Isn't that something? Not quite sure what this home is over here, or this building. It's some type of a store, it would appear. A gift shop. See if we can't. Just gonna walk through.
Yeah, I'm good. Here comes your photographer.
Beautiful.
Smile for him. No, I don't like to have my glasses on.
No? Well, you look beautiful with or without them.
Oh, well, aren't you wonderful?
That's what everyone says. Everyone says I'm just so wonderful. Who am I? What?
Who are you taking the pictures for?
No one. Just me. I'll be darned. This is the Ford gift shop?
This was Henry Ford's caretaker's home.
It was.
And the caretaker only had to see his boss 2 weeks out of the year.
Oh, that's it. That's all he came
That's
down
it,
was
yeah.
2 weeks of the year. How did he come down here? Did he drive in his car?
No, they came by river. Eventually, he did bring a car down,
Uh-huh.
but he came down to spend the 2 weeks with Mr. Edison over his birthday.
I'll be darned. All right. Well, have a nice evening, okay?
You too.
Thank you so much. Okay.
You certainly may.
What a nice, oh, what a nice place. Look at this room here. Aren't they pretty? All right. Well, look at all the names. They're all alphabetized. I wonder if they have Oksana. I wonder if they have Oksana on the on this. They have Sophia. I see Sophia. No, I don't think. Oh, they have Olivia. Only Olivia. Okay. So we'll wrap this up as we walk down once again toward the water, and there would be the wedding party. You know, I'm always tempted when I'm doing a video like this that's going to be uploaded to video or uploaded to YouTube and available forever and ever, on the outside chance that one of these folk in the wedding party will come along and see themselves immortalized on a YouTube video. Beautiful bride. What bride isn't beautiful on her wedding day? Look, and they have the old car there. Look at that. You can zoom in a little bit. Here they are, getting their picture taken. Oops. There you go. We got some beautiful Christmas music going on in the background. All right. Excuse the shaky camera work. So, hope you enjoyed this visit to the Thomas Alva Edison and Henry Ford Winter Estates. I sure did. Here's a nice view of the rear of the Ford home as I find my way out. Oh, and there's actually a spot. I thought there was. I see a statue of Mr. Ford. And then just over here in the garage, you'll see some of his cars. So let's see if we can't share that with you. I seem to recall my father coming into this garage and standing by one of these cars, and he was all smiles, saying, "This was my first car." Look at that. wonderful memories with my dad visiting this winter estate. Sure was one of them. There you go. This is the 1921 Ford Model T converted into a truck. You got Santa in there. And if I'm not mistaken, this was my dad's first car. I have a picture of my dad right here. 1929 Ford Model A. That was my dad's first truck, or first car, I should say. And boy, he just loved seeing that when he was here. He just really, really loved seeing his very first car. That's something. Rest his soul. And over here you have a 1917 Ford Model TT truck. Alright. Boy, and coming out, there's actually a whole nother home over here, and this might actually be the... I've just got myself turned around, I think. That's the Seminole Lodge. Here you go. There's Mr. Ford. If I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. That's one of my favorite quotes from this man. If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. You know, for all I know, my dad and Henry and Thomas, they could be hanging out right now up there beyond the pearly gates. Maybe my dad's asking Henry, "You want to play another game?" Henry say, "No, I'm gonna go to bed. Why don't you play Thomas?" Look at that. Just fantastic. All right, folks. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful morning or afternoon or day or evening, whatever, wherever you might, whenever you may be finding yourself watching this video. Take good care from beautiful Fort Myers, Florida.